Hello guys, today I'm going to quickly explain you the 4 types of triggers that you can configure in Azure Data Factory. The most popular one are the schedule trigger and the storage events trigger, but I'm going to quickly show you the 4 of them. So let's go with the first one, the schedule trigger. This is the most simple trigger you can create, and this is when you want every day, let's say at 9 a.m. starting from today, to run the pipeline. So as simple as that. The next one is the tumbling window trigger, and this is the same as the scheduling one, but with the difference that you can start the pipeline from last week. Let's say, and we will see later in the practice, but with the scheduling trigger you just can trigger the pipeline, and let's say that you can start from today, but from the tumbling, with the tumbling trigger you can start it from last week, let's say, because the pipeline fails and you just need to have every day since last or from last week to be run. The other difference respect the scheduling trigger is the self-dependency on other triggers, where you can have 2 triggers, and in the second one you can say, okay, so until the first one won't finish, don't trigger the second one. So this is a self-dependency that you can put in the tumbling trigger. Next one, the storage events trigger. This is one of the most popular ones as well, and this is the trigger that you want to create once a file arrives in BLOB or it's deleted from the BLOB storage you have. So once this happens, it will trigger the pipeline. So one file arrives to your BLOB storage, it will trigger the pipeline. It will take, let's say, the most common use, the file from your BLOB, and it will move it to another BLOB, to the same BLOB, or to wherever you want to send. And the last one, the custom events trigger. This is a trigger to trigger the pipeline depending on events coming from Event Grid, one of the other applications that Azure have. And this will be explained in a separate video, as this is not that commonly used. So having said that, let's go to practice and let's see how we can quickly create some of the triggers. So once here in our Azure Data Factory instance, I'm going to show you the 2 ways of how to create a trigger. Either you go to the Manage tab here in the left and you go to Triggers and you create a new trigger, okay? And you don't assign to any pipeline, you just want to have the trigger here already saved. Or either you go to the Author tab and let's imagine that we already have created our simple pipeline with a copy date activity, and here you add the trigger. Then you click New or Edit, choose a trigger. We don't have any, so we click New, and okay, by default trigger 1, and here is where you can choose the type, the scheduling one, where you can choose the recurrence. So let's say it starts, if we put something before now at 4:10, it won't let us, but if we are putting it from now on, it will. So the recurrence here, and here we can put start trigger on creation. This is for all the types. For the tumbling window, the same, but as we saw before in the theory, we can put from previous dates. And also in advance, we have these dependencies where you can add to another trigger that you have and that we didn't create it, but you can put a dependency where until this trigger didn't finish, you don't start this new one. You have also the offset and window size, where you can check in the Microsoft documentations in order to not extend this video. And the other types are the storage events, and here, as is a trigger based on your Azure in your BLOB storage, so you will need to choose the subscription, your storage account name. In our case, it's this one that we have created, and you need to specify the container. So in our case, let's choose this container, this sink, and so this will mean that once, and this is where you can specify it, once you create a BLOB, which means once you upload a file here, this pipeline will trigger. or either you can choose once you delete. If we delete now this file, then we will trigger this pipeline. You can start trigger on creation here, and here you have some blob path begins with, in case you want to specify some more detailed path of where you want the trigger to focus. And yeah, that's it for the triggers. Thank you for watching,